everyone, welcome back to the Diabetic Diet Show. Today's show is oven roasted chicken and rosemary with a lemon sauce and a crispy pancetta pear salad. This is show number 291. We're almost to 300. This is going to be a good meal. Stick around. By the way, if you want all these measurements, just hit the subscribe button and you'll see the word more and they'll all be listed there. If you want, you can go to my website too, which is jamestdds.blogspot.com. Let's go through the ingredients really fast and then let's get this chicken in the oven. So we have a half of a chicken we're going to roast up, and if you want to cheat, just buy a roasted chicken. I'm doing it all from scratch today. Now, I also have rosemary, chives, Dijon mustard, which you know is always good in the recipes, the pancetta. I have sherry, wine, kind of a vinegar. I have a pear. I'm using a lemon that I'm going to cut in half and put on the sheet. Make sure you take your butter out so that it gets soft. And then I have potatoes that I have washed. Use as many of them as you want. These particular ones are called Baby Dutch yellow potatoes. And these are some of my favorites. So let's go ahead and get started by getting this chicken in the oven because that takes the longest. And the potatoes I'm going to put in a separate bowl in the oven also. Let's start out with getting the gloves. Pat dry the chicken. I kind of cheat and I put a towel down here before I put the chicken on here. The aluminum foil, I just buy this aluminum foil in packages at the grocery store so that it is the size of the cookie sheet. I have also sprayed the cooking sheet and the aluminum foil with Pam. I've washed my hands with my super secret solution of dish soap, bleach, and water, and I have the chicken already in the oven. Let's go ahead and set the timer before I forget. Let's just go 20, and then we'll check it with the thermometer and see where it is. I hit 21. We'll go there. Start. Potatoes. Potatoes are simple, straightforward. The only thing you need is your knife. This is such a fantastic, simple recipe. All you're doing is cutting the potatoes in half. And I was thinking you could probably use the mandolin if you want, but you'd have to set it kind of on the thickest slices. But this is basically how I like it. So if you look here, you know, you look at what you have here. This is going to be for each of us. I'm not making a meal out of the potatoes, but I do want to make enough to fill us up. I think actually we're probably pretty full. We had a big potluck dinner at church today, so we didn't have to cook for lunch, and that was delicious. Now take your lemon and cut your lemon in half. That's going to go on the sheet also. And next we need to do our pear. This pear is not ripe yet. It's fairly rigid. Let's cut up the pear. Let's cheat. Use the apple slicer. It's going right down the center just like that. Nice and slow, especially on a pear that's this rigid. And I don't know why they call it a pear when it's only one. I have things all cut up. Let's go ahead and just kind of compartmentalize things here a little bit. Let's take the pears, put them off to the side. Move this out of the way. The sherry, I already filled up my container, so I have that ready to go. Now, let's take our oven-safe bowl and the Pam. Like I say, spray everything with Pam. I spray Barb with Pam. I spray everything with Pam. The lemons I'm going to set aside because I'm going to put them with the chicken. So the potatoes I'm setting in here. And I'm just putting them cut side down. So they look like that. Just like that. Get my hands dry so that I'm not slippery from the cooking spray. Salt and pepper. Probably want to salt some more later. Remember, potatoes get a lot of salt. Oil. Take a timer, set it for 20 minutes. Make sure you hit the start button. Put this timer over here, so I know that one's separate, and throw these in the oven. I've done this before, and I've really liked it. So I'll go ahead and put my oil in here. And then I'll just turn the pan around a little bit like this. Burner's getting hot. And I want to crisp them up for a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Got to kind of keep an eye on them, especially if you have a smoke detector over your head. So I'm going to use just a few ingredients. Dijon mustard. And the sherry wine. Salt and pepper. Give it a stir. You want to stir it again a little bit later on, but set this aside. Check on your Panco. Let's do the chives and the rosemary. I've washed them already. They look good. I have a bowl. I have some scissors. This is so much easier than using a knife. I have a video on this. If you want to see my video on kitchen shears and scissors, I can put a link in. You'll have to hit the subscribe button below and then the more button to be able to see it. But I will put it there for you. The rosemary, you want to pull off the stem. This is kind of green still, so it's kind of hard to pull these off, but you don't need it really all that much. I'm going to put this on the chicken in the last few minutes. It's time to check the chicken. So let's get some hot plate gloves. Leave the oven on because it's may or may not be done. Here's the potatoes all cooked in the butter sauce. They look absolutely delicious. Whew, this is hot. Say ah. So it's drifted up to 100. So I'm going to put it back in again. I'm going to put some salt and pepper on it. And the rosemary. Just like this, we'll roast up that rosemary. So I've dished up some lettuce and I've thrown tomato on top, and I've also made my raspberry vinaigrette salad dressing. Barb and I found this at the Longhorn Steakhouse. If you eat there and you like it, I will put the link in my show of me making this. My secret ingredient is some red raspberry syrup. So pick this up from your grocery store. The rest of it is basically pantry type ingredients. And if you'll click the subscribe button right now, you'll see the more button, and then you'll see the link to my video of that. So it's been 10 minutes for the chicken. Let's go ahead and check the chicken again. Chicken is 165. I turned off the stove a couple of minutes ago just to let it cruise up to 165. Remember, when cooking a chicken like this, it could be 45 minutes. So I would just cook it up like an hour early, just to be sure. Now you want to set this chicken aside for about 5 minutes. It's real juicy. And just let it cool off. Now, one thing I said earlier was about that I was roasting in the pancetta, and I misspoke, probably because I love bacon and pancetta so much. What I meant to say was panco, the breadcrumbs. And the panco breadcrumbs are my favorite. I have the Italian breadcrumbs also, but you know, I always end up using the Panco brand. So this has to finish setting for a few more minutes, but I have the pears ready for the plate. I have the green onions for the topping. Here's my roasted lemon. They came out really nice. They're not overcooked. And you can squeeze this on top of your chicken if you want. Here's the breadcrumbs. Now for the salad, if you want, you could take these breadcrumbs like this and just break them up right on top of the salad. These were roasted in olive oil. Thank you to my sister for the olive oil. And the olive oil that I used was garlic mushroom. So even though I didn't put garlic in one recipe that I made for the week, which I know is unusual, I still snuck in some garlic. And then of course we have the pears here that you can garnish around the plate. And I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the ducks are really excited about this recipe. Our show is filmed before a live studio audience, and they're the ducks that are out in the pond. Here's the salad dressing. You just want to drizzle a little bit on top, just like that, to make it look pretty. You can always put more on later. Well, this was a lot, but this is something you probably want to cook up a little bit in advance and then finish it once you get closer to dinner time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.